Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. Got a couple of workshop projects for you today on my Polaris Ranger. Some of the video didn't turn out real well and some of it got omitted, so I thought I'd just use this opportunity to set up the video so you know what you're going to be looking at. We're going to start right off on the workbench, and we are taking apart an electronic actuator. And if you don't know what that is, you could just think of it as a screw jack. In other words, it just screws in and out and it lifts things, or can lift things. And in my case, I use them to lift the bed of the Polaris Ranger to make it act like a dump truck. The reason I need it is because I haul heavy loads of firewood and they're too heavy to pick up and dump them. And I don't bother stacking my firewood because I burn it too quickly. So that's project number one. Then project number two, you'll see we get into working on the emergency brake, or the parking brake if you prefer to call it that. It's always been a problem, and so I fixed that in this video as well. We're going to get started right after this. This looks like a mess, and it is. There's these two actuator cylinders here. I've already ordered a new one, but I thought I might be able to fix one. I had this one working, but it wouldn't work when I got it on the four-wheeler for whatever reason. I guess it didn't have any power. I don't know. Well, this one, I took it apart, and it turns out it's missing this little deal. Wasn't soldered in over here. And quite honestly, I might be able to fix that, but I thought, what the heck, I'll just take the board out of that one, and here it is, and I'm going to put it in this one. That's easier, really. So let's see if that works. I'll show you what it looks like here once I get her finished. Well, I have no idea if the repaired actuator is going to work. I just have no idea. I'm bench testing it, it sort of works. We'll just see. So I'm going to mount this thing back in here. It's really just two pins to mount it and two wires to hook up. It's not that difficult. That's assuming you can find the wires and the pins. So here we just have a pin that goes through, and a washer and that, and then down below it's the same thing. I just have the same thing down low that you're not going to be able to see. I'll move you over, but I doubt you'll be able to see it. Nah, you're not going to be able to see it from here, I don't think. Nah, you might be able to just get a hint of it, but I doubt you'll see it. It's down in there, of course. Yeah, you're not in the... I'll probably have to move the camera anyway, because when I tilt this down, it's going to hit the camera. So you're not going to be able to see it. And it's too tight to get in there with a camera. So I'll just move it back and you can not see what you can't see there. That's the best way I can explain it. Alright, so this is tricky because I have to balance the weight of that thing while I'm putting the pin in, and it ain't easy to do. Whoops, whoops. See, that's the problem. It's weighted to my disadvantage for sure. Right when I get it just about where I want it, it wants to fall back really hard. So if I can hold it with one hand, and then you got to put a pin, you got to line it up and put the pin in with the other hand all at the same time, and that ain't easy because I'm reaching around stuff and it's pretty hard to do. One more person helping would just make it simple. It wouldn't even be hard at all. Yeah, it's almost there. Yep. Now I got it. Amazing. Alright, so now I'm just going to put a nut and washer on this end. I think that's easier than trying to deal with pins in this particular case. That's installed temporarily. I'm not even going to worry about tightening it up right now. Before I go to a lot of trouble, I'm going to hook up these wires with alligator clips and just test it and see if it's even going to work, because I have no idea. And here's the other 2 wires here. So I'll just get some alligator wires and connect them up here temporarily. It's really hard for me to tell the colors, especially when there's not a lot of light on it. There's never a place to hang a light either when you need one. Well, I think that's the black. Not that that's going to really make much difference in this particular case. It'll just operate backwards, which is not a big deal. And then I'll go to black here, and then I'll go red to red here. That's as good as it gets for the moment. I should have put this down under, but we'll see. I'm going to press the switch. This should be going down, and it's going down. Amazing. It's going really slow, but it's going. All right. So I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to go up and see if it'll stop or if it just keeps going, because it might unscrew itself. That's what happened the last time. Stop. I think we're good. Well, I might have fixed it. I'm not claiming any victories till this thing's completely done, because so far everything I've done to it has thrown me a curve. Even though it looks like it's right, it may not be. Once again, I didn't film the wiring, but here's the wiring all connected up. Now I'm going to close it all the way down and open it all the way up and see if it's working. And honestly, I just don't have a good guess yet. All right, that's going down. All right, that seems good and solid. Now we'll go back up with it. Yeah, there it goes. Working pretty good. Let's see if it stops on its own when it gets up to the top. I hope it does. Seems like it does. Okay, I'm going to wire tie the wires up now while it's in the up position like that, because that's the longest the wires ever need to be. This is the parking brake assembly out of the Ranger, and the pads are completely shot. I repaired these once before, but I'll tell you quite honestly, the parking brake on this thing just barely ever does work good. I'm hoping I can figure out a way to adjust it and make it work better as I have it apart here. I'm going to start by taking this emergency brake or parking brake, whatever you prefer to call it. I'm going to take it all the way apart and clean it real good and see if there's some way to adjust this thing better than what I can see. Everything I've tried to adjust on it just seems to laugh at you. It doesn't seem to work. So I'm going to give it a shot, see if we can't make it better. I see washers and ball bearings and all kinds of crud that's falling out of here. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Springs. Holy mackerel. Ain't that fun. See, I put a regular car brake in here, welded it in place or something. I don't even know how I did it. And that I thought that would be better, you know, using a pad, the front pads off of a car, but it didn't work. It'll be fun cleaning this mess up and trying to get it to work. I bought new, you know, quote-unquote factory type pads here, and we're gonna see if that works. They're definitely sticking out further, that's for sure, so maybe we'll have some luck. The first thing I'm gonna do is just get all this cleaned up and then see if I can put it back together. Well, I got a squirt of the old red diesel there that I thought I would use to clean this up with. Ordinarily, I just use gasoline, but I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll just use diesel. It's less likely to catch fire, and I'm indoors, and I got the furnace going, so it just makes sense to use the diesel. In case you don't know, diesels, you can barely start it on fire with a match. I mean, well, don't get me wrong, you can, but I'm just saying it's way less flammable than gas is. Way less flammable. Hardly even on the same scale. Those are the detents for the ball bearings. Alright, well that one's relatively clean. I'm just going to clean all the parts. These parking brakes, they really don't seem to be very adjustable, at least by my standards. I've tried adjusting this thing a bunch of different times over the years. I mean, the last time I worked on it, I'll be honest, was probably at least a decade ago. I basically just live with the fact that it's a very, very, very weak parking brake. Just aggravating. I mean, it barely even works at all. But on these hillsides around here, it's really nice when you can count on your parking brake. Because there's lots of unlevel ground here. And I'm constantly getting out of it in hilly locations. Often I just have to put a rock under the tire. And sometimes it's so hilly you can't find a rock within reach, so you just got a problem, you know. Just be nice to use the right tool for the right job. I mean, the springs look like they're in good shape, but they're just real greasy, dirty like, so get them cleaned off too. Kind of unusual, there's kind of like some kind of white, almost looks like paint on there. Ball bearings are going to roll everywhere, so I'm going to lay them on top of this. I thought there was another piece of that, a big metal piece. I thought there were two of these. Guess I'm wrong. I guess it was just the brakes. Good thing I took a picture of it before I took it apart, because I'd probably never get that back together. Well, assuming that the first time that I worked on this, that I got it back together correctly, I noticed this one's thicker than this one is. So in the photo, it goes like that and like this. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I put it back together right the first time. Who knows? Makes sense that the thickest one would be on the outside. At least it makes sense to me. Where did the big washer go? I didn't go anywhere. You know, it makes no sense. How does this stuff do this to me? Where did the big washer go? I didn't go anywhere. I've been standing right here the whole time. Must be under this, I guess. Oh my gosh. Well, there it is. It's under that. thought is this goes this way, this goes this way. That's my thought. And then this goes like so. I should have really paid a lot more attention to this. Oh my gosh. Now the other nut's missing. Again, I didn't go anywhere. Where did it go? Oh my gosh. Did I drop it? I don't remember dropping anything. It's frustrating, man. This is how my days go every day. It's like, are you kidding me? Where did the nut go for that thing? There it is. Still inside the wrench. Well, I honestly don't know how I got that back together. At least I think it's right. And then somehow, yeah, that gets pulled together like that. Well, actually, it gets pulled together by this, going in and out. Wow. Okay. Well, I think I got it, though. How I got it, I don't know. By the grace of God, I guess. Tighten them up a little bit at a time here till I get them close. I don't see any adjustments on these brakes. I really don't. It's just like you just tighten them down and that's it. That's all you get. Now that looks good, and you can probably see when I move this arm, you can probably see down in there that the it closes. See, it gets tighter. That's, you pull that arm and it tightens around the, there's a hub, there's a wheel in there, or a disc, and that disc is in there spinning, or it can spin, and this locks it down, and it, somehow that disc is tied to the transmission or something. I'm not really sure, but it stops it. Somehow it gets back to the wheels. That looks really good. I'm pretty sure that's 100% right on how it goes. Hoping to see some way to improve it, but I don't see any way to improve it. These go through here, and that's what bolts it to the frame. So I guess we're going back to the Ranger to bolt it to the frame. Well, it won't. This distance here is not thick, open enough to get over the disc. So that just means I need to loosen these up some, at least until it's installed. I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's not a very good system, because you can't leave these loose, I don't think. I mean, this would be the adjustment. I agree with that part, but it just doesn't seem like that would be the way you would adjust it, because there's nothing holding this nut on this side. It's just dumb. Just a dumb design. It could have been a really good design, but it's a dumb design if you ask me. Well, I'm going to loosen it up like that and go try to see if it'll fit on there now. Not that you're going to be able to see what I'm doing, but at least it's down there. You can kind of see the device I was working on. Now the problem is I don't remember which side was which, but I think all the bolts came in from... No, the bolts did come in from this side, I remember. Or at least that's the way I remember taking them out of there that way. Now I got to get the washers and the nuts on them without them exploding here. Glad I got lucky on the first one. It's just, there's no room to get your hand in here. They're both there. Now this has to go on here too. I don't know if I should try to put that on before I tighten them down or just tighten them down first. I guess I'll just tighten them down first. I've never seen nuts that are harder to get the wrench on than these nuts. I couldn't get them off either the same way, same problem, and they just don't want to go on. And they're 14 millimeter. You gotta get them, boy, you gotta get them lined up just perfect. These must not have the least amount of clearance of any bolts and nuts I've ever seen. When they go on perfectly. They're just real tight. I'm gonna call that good enough. Now I'll just put the pin in here and hopefully we'll have a parking brake. The first assumption is that I can get the pin in here. Yeah, it looks like I can, I think. There it is. And there's the little keeper key, or whatever you want to call it, and that worked. Okay. It might be that I have to loosen these a little bit more, because that's got that pulled. I mean, it'll probably move, but I don't want to wear out my new pads right away. So I'm going to see if I can loosen those nuts a little bit. I think that's good enough. I think it's going to work. Now I have to move the camera out of the way so I can put the pin back in this actuator. So I can't pull the bed down until the camera moves. Odds are you won't be able to see any of this. I can't see it either. And honestly, how do I get that aligned up and get the pin in there? I don't know. Well, I did it. Man, they don't make nothing easy on these things. It's just, I've gotten used to figuring it out. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can put the bed down. There goes the bed down. Very slow, but at least it's going down. I tell you what, any success you have on working on these things, you pretty much need to celebrate, because these things are hard to work on. All right, I think we had two successes. I think we have a parking brake, and I think we have a bed that works. As my mom liked to say, she would say it about her kitchen, but I'll say it about this shop. This shop is so small you can't cuss a cat without getting hair in your mouth. Boy, that's a fact. I mean, I've got the camera over here in the corner out of the way. Now, I have not applied the parking brake yet, but let's see. I bet I can roll this thing. Well, actually, it's in gear. That should be neutral. See, I can roll it now. No problem. Let's put the parking brake on, see if I can roll it. I have not tested it yet. This is the first time. All right, that's on. Nope, I can't roll it. It won't go. It rocks, but it won't go. Successful. Very successful. Well, my friends, I realize the filming on this, or the camera work, wasn't the best. I get that. Like I said, this shop is so small you can't cuss a cat without getting hair in your mouth. So it just kind of is what it is. But if you did enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have not yet subscribed, please get that done, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.